Hi everyone and welcome. I'm out here in my garden, and that usually means we're checking in on my outdoor worm bin. The day started out really rainy, and I even woke up at around 5 in the morning when I could hear a sudden downpour start. And I doubted that I'd be able to follow through with my original plan of checking in on this bin today, but the sun was actually shining a moment ago, which inspired me to come on out here and give this a try. I think if I stand in just the right spot, then I can avoid blocking the little bit of daylight that's coming through, so I'll try to position myself in such a way that I'm not limiting the light, and I can see a little intruder running around down here. Something that's a little bit difficult to control in my outdoor bins. It's a centipede. It did seem like I'd crushed the little guy's back legs, so he was kind of stuck. So at this point, I'm going to just throw him on the sidewalk. Maybe some bird will come by and make a meal out of him. Unfortunate for the centipede, but I prefer not having them in my worm bins if I could avoid it, because they do prey on the worms. This is something I'm not accustomed to seeing over here either. Wait, maybe, no, I thought, just based on the shape of it, I thought it might have been some sort of like a, some sort of a snail or something, but it might just be like a millipede? Maybe it is a snail, I don't know. It's, there again, with this being an outdoor bin, it is a bit difficult to control what's in my bins, but that's something that I normally don't see, and I'd prefer not to. Slugs. It does seem like I'm getting a wide variety of different visitors coming to this bin lately. I wonder if I might be able to limit the amount of shadow that's cast into this bin by just folding down its edge that's in the direction of the sunshine trying to make its way over here. We'll see how that turns out. I can still get a little bit of rain coming down onto my shoulders here, even though the sun is shining. Every time the wind blows, it knocks some of the raindrops that have collected on the leaves overhead. So I'm getting a little shower here and there, but it's certainly not bad. It seems like it's actually turning into a very nice day out here. So the first thing I noticed when I came in here was just a whole bunch of nice freshly deposited castings right out here on the top surface. And the last feeding that I gave this bin 10 days ago was pretty generous. I even went so far as to boost the bedding, which is something I normally don't bother with too much either in my outdoor system, but it was just something that the viewers had suggested, and I felt like I agreed that it was a good suggestion, so I figured I'd go for it and grab some bedding to go hand in hand with the feeding. Now, if memory serves me, I think I had stacked some of the older foods that we had found in here last time right here on top, so the stuff we're encountering right off the bat are things that actually go back a couple of feedings, such as this half of an avocado, which it fascinates me because you always hear about how avocados are one of the worm's favorites, and we're certainly seeing a good worm turnout here in this half of an avocado. But this thing's been in here for at least a couple weeks now, maybe coming up on 3 weeks. It's a little surprising to find leftovers of something that you sort of expect to see vanish very rapidly. This is a mango seed. That's just really tough. That's something that's going to take the worms a while to break through and consume entirely. And then here we have the stem of a head of lettuce. The worms definitely seem like they're enjoying that as well. I think the main attraction of the last feeding was a whole bunch of green beans that my mom gave me that had gone bad in her fridge, and she contributed it to the wormery. So I wonder how much of that we'll see, because I just had this funny feeling like that was going to be the main attraction here, and that would attract a lot of worms into the feeding area. So I'll just keep digging down until we start finding some signs of the last feeding, and these leaves are part of that. So these leaves, I believe, were maybe stacked up on top of the green beans. I can't recall. I think I'm also seeing signs of grit. Maybe I added grit, I don't recall. I might have gone that extra mile and bought my supply of grit up here last time. Perhaps I should have reviewed the video from the last check-in on this bin to see exactly what went down here, so that I can better describe what we're seeing here as we pick through. But I think my my initial reaction is that of surprise to not see any signs of anything green, because there was just like a huge mound of green beans placed into here. I half expected to find a good number of them in here. In a way, I didn't know exactly what to expect. I did sort of have a hunch that they'd be a popular item, but I didn't think they'd all be gone in the, you know, time span of only 10 days. But I believe that just further speaks to my hunch that this bin is really heavily populated, even though it's sometimes hard to see, because I think the worms just seem to be all over the place within this bin. When we were pulling stuff out there for a while, we did see little worm balls and concentrations of worms hanging out together. And I bet you when the green beans were still here, there was probably even more of them. But it does seem like they've, for the most part, done away with that stuff. I doubted that I would need to bring food out today. I was almost certain that there'd be a whole bunch of green beans remaining, but it seems like I was wrong. But maybe maybe I have to sort of change my plan, and maybe I do need to shoot into the freezer and grab some food to bring out here for these guys, because I did not expect to be feeding. I just thought it would be a check-in. But as long as they're exhibiting this sort of ability to do away with stuff, it certainly makes sense to go get something for them, as long as we've got this hole opened up here, and we got this many hungry mouths to feed. So I believe I'm going to take a quick break here just for a few minutes so I can run inside and grab some stuff for them. So let me turn off the camera for a minute. I'll even leave my glove here. Oops. I guess the worms in their ongoing squirming are probably going to collapse this hole. Probably look a little different by the time we get back. So break time. I'll be back momentarily. So I did not have to go into my freezer, because I did have this bag full of leaves and other things. As you saw, jalapeno pepper in there that just went overly ripe. Just like any pepper that goes overly ripe, it was red. And I've got all these soiled paper towels too, a good number of them. So this will be the bedding they're getting today. Like I said earlier, I oftentimes omit the bedding when I'm feeding my outdoor bin, but it does seem like they could probably use some. So I'm gonna go ahead and provide today's dosage of food with paper towels as their bedding. I'm really surprised at all those green beans getting gobbled up and consumed. It's good to see. But you know, I'm just going to dig just a little bit deeper, because sometimes I wonder if I might have just gone really deep with whatever it is that I'm looking for and not finding. But I believe I'm at the bottom of the bag already, so there might be no more. Yeah, that's it. Might be no more depth, I think, because I'm already scraping bottom here. Not a sign of a single green bean. Oh, no, something green, but I don't think it's a green bean. So I'm going to, I guess the nice thing about a paper towel bedding is that I can use them to wipe off my glove. Maybe I'll even save one at the end to give myself a nice wipe down before we pack everything up. So I'll lay down a little bit of a foundation that we could plop in today's feeding onto. Leave a little bit here. This is a good amount of stuff. Let's just empty the bag. But then again, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit, it's a little bit stinky. This stuff has been sitting in his bag for a number of days now. It's the leaves of coral rob, and then it's also some cuttings of having hacked up some coral rob. So I think it's pretty much that, as well as that pepper that was in here too that I made mention of earlier. Maybe we'll stick that in the middle to see if it's still here next time we come in. But these worms are doing a number on the food that they receive. So unless we come back here in a fairly short period of time, chances are they're gonna do away with most of this stuff. There, you know, maybe I wonder if that's what's happening, is maybe their attention is getting driven away from these slower composting items, like especially this mango seed. This is something that'll normally take quite some time to break down in a worm bin. But you know, maybe they're getting distracted by the green beans and leaving these other items here, like these avocados, for later. But whatever the explanation is, here again, I think we've given them, I don't know, at least a half a pound of material, perhaps more. But at the rate that these little guys have been consuming food lately, we might be back in here pretty soon. I've been hinting at starting a red wiggler bin down in my basement ever since I lost all my red wigglers recently. And I'm fairly certain that the worms that occupy this container are red wigglers. So it does seem like turning to this bin here, or this bag here, to try to replenish my red wiggler population is probably the easiest way to get myself back in the red wiggler business. So I think one of these days I'm gonna have to prep a container into which I could transplant some of these worms and get myself up and running again with the red wigglers, using volunteers from this system. This is just potato. I believe potato was another thing that they were given last week, but that doesn't seem to have been consumed as thoroughly as the green beans did. And then this thing here, it's a piece of clothesline which we keep bumping into, and my guess is that we will just continue bumping into it, because I don't think it's organic material that the worms are going to be able to consume. But this is just kind of my whatever bin, you know, bin that I don't worry all that much about, although I've been taking more and more of a shine to it. So maybe I am getting more invested not sure what the right word is, but I definitely enjoy working on this system, because it always produces good results. It always seems to be a very busy system. I'm also just impressed by the fact that it sat out here all winter and did just fine by being out here in the cold, and the worms all managed to live through the winter and survive and thrive, or at least the majority of them seem to have, because we've got a good-sized population in here. Alright, looks like the neighbor is rolling in with their loud music playing. So let me just try to bring a closure to this video here really quick by closing up and letting you know that I appreciate you watching my video. Thank you so much. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to leave me a thumbs up. That's always really appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to my channel too. That's really appreciated as well. Alright everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.